Our business tonight, Singapore is seeing opportunities in certain high-growth, high-value-add sectors. Despite a challenging business outlook this year, the green economy is one of them, and the city-state has its eye on companies with promising technology in areas such as renewable energy, green finance, and agri-food. CNA's Heidi Ng with a taste of what's to come.
Saving the earth one dish at a time. That's Good Meat's mission, and it's doing that by cultivating chicken.
It's a process of creating safe, sustainable and clean meat from a bioreactor instead of slaughtering an animal. So we start from a single cell, either through a biopsy, a cell bank, or even a piece of meat. So we take that cell, we put it inside a stainless steel tank called a bioreactor, and we grow that cell, we feed that cell, and we grow that cell. So after about 2 weeks, we drain the cells and we turn the cells into edible product, into edible chicken.
Singapore in 2020 became the first country in the world to allow the sale of lab-grown chicken. And that's been good news for Good Meat. It's opening a new research and production facility here later this year to increase production by 12 times. And it's not stopping there.
We really want to be ubiquitous. We don't only want to serve chicken. We want to serve beef, pork, lamb, fish. And in Singapore and in chicken itself, there's more iterations and different versions that we can go towards too.
Next up, the company is working on cultivated beef and hopes to get government approval for it next year.
And Heidi dug deeper into Singapore's green economy strategy with the Managing Director of the Economic Development Board. Jacqueline Poh says Singapore's net zero targets reflect the need to take decarbonisation seriously, but it also creates a lot of opportunities.
The first thrust is really to green our existing businesses and our industries, and also to strive for the use of renewable energy. This is very important in order to keep our businesses competitive. I think they will find that over time, customers and investors will increasingly require that companies take decarbonization seriously and have the smallest carbon footprint possible. And this will be particularly for something called Scope 3 emissions, which looks at not only your own emissions, but your suppliers' emissions. The second major thrust is actually very much more on the offensive side, and that is to capture green growth opportunities. The whole move towards decarbonization also presents a huge number of opportunities for our businesses to get into the act and to be able to sell the kind of products and services that are required for the future. This could be in terms of carbon services, where Singapore has made a huge amount of progress in the last few years, attracting over 70 carbon services companies. The other type of sort of green growth opportunity that I think Singapore can capture for a longer term time frame is in climate tech. This would be a number of technologies that would include carbon capture, hydrogen, and low carbon mobility and agri-food that could change the way that sustainability becomes a commercially viable product.
Can you tell me the kinds of skills that we'll need to learn or to undergo training for to really capitalize on these opportunities?
Our third thrust is also to prepare our own people, our executives, our founders, and our workers for a green future. This includes training our workers in skill sets that are relevant to sustainability. In certain fields, there may be a requirement for more sophisticated and specialized skill sets. So, for example, if you happen to want to be a green finance professional, having some sort of training in green finance. Finally, for climate tech, there is a certain amount of demand for areas related to material science and chemical engineering, process engineering, and precision engineering.
What are some challenges that existing businesses might face when trying to capitalize on this green economy movement?
I think one of the big challenges that businesses tell us about is actually that they are not so familiar with the frameworks for sustainability, not so sure about how they can best comply. And there I think there are a number of consultancies that can help them on that path. Others are not so sure about whether or not technologies are fully ready for them to transit to. For example, hydrogen or technologies such as carbon capture are still in a very nascent stage of growth. And I think that because Singapore is an alternative energy constrained country, and power and electricity forms a large part of the emissions for many companies in Singapore, there will be a need to find a way to also green our power grid and provide options for renewable energy over time.
And Heidi Young also got the EDB's Jacqueline Poe talking on other growth drivers in Singapore. That's coming up this weekend on Singapore Tonight.